and welcome to the Back Room, where we talk about politics around the world, across the country, and right here in the Bronx and the rest of New York. I'm your host, Lisa Schiffren, a Republican speechwriter.
David Eisenbach, presidential historian.
Tonight we're going to talk about Iran. It doesn't seem to me as if there's a more important subject anywhere on the globe. On Sunday, President Trump and Vice President Vance signed a memorandum of understanding with the Iranian regime after negotiating this memorandum to see if peace can be achieved. The memorandum is secret. The Trump administration has not released it, which I think is ridiculous because the world is waiting to see what is actually going on. Some of it has been leaked, and there's a lot of thought about what's in it. So for one thing, keeping it secret just strikes me as the dumbest thing you can do in a democracy.
When you're embarrassed by the contents, as Trump
we'll get to that in a minute. I have been a supporter of this war. I think the goal of the war was entirely justified and exceptionally useful in the world. The Iranian people need a new regime, and Iran needs to not have nuclear weapons because it is an insanely governed country. The people who run it are batshit crazy. Having said that, which I shouldn't have done, I will say what I've heard is in this memorandum of understanding is that we give the Iranian government $300 billion. Some of that money comes from the Arab countries that have been on our side against Iran. That's way too much money for a country that should not be able to rebuild its economy so quickly. All sanctions will be lifted, a disaster. Frozen assets will be unfrozen. That's more money to the crazy government. The IRGC will control the Straits of Hormuz, as they used to. But this time they will have the temptation of not keeping it open or charging tolls. So we'll see. The president wants to see the Straits open because he wants to see oil flowing through, among other reasons, to keep gas prices cheap, which is a good goal. But can the Iranians be trusted? It's not clear. No mention of ballistic missiles or proxies. The proxies like Hamas and Hezbollah need to be reined in. They need to be made not to be proxies anymore. Nuclear agreement is based on Islamic regime's word. They have lied about everything for 47 years. They lied to Obama when he made a similar agreement with them in 2015. So trusting their word strikes me as ridiculous. What do you think?
Oh my God. This is the Make Iran Great Again plan, right? We're talking GDP. The Iranian GDP is about 300 billion. Well, now they're going to get another 300 billion. In addition to that, Obama gave them $1.7 billion. Everybody lost their minds. You know, Donald Trump toward that. He was talking about it, right? Donald Trump's not going to give them $26 billion, right? And getting rid of all the sanctions, right? So their economy is going to boom under this plan here. As you said, no restrictions on funding or arming Hezbollah. And in fact, it requires a ceasefire in Lebanon.
In theory, they will have to adhere to the things we demand of them, like no nuclear development.
Oh, yeah, no nuclear development,
in theory,
but they've been promising that.
Well, nobody trusts them promising it, but it may be that there's some monitoring.
You've given away the house. You started the war. I warned against it. I knew it was going to be a disaster. I'm on record saying, you know, we lost. We got our heads handed to us, and now we have to give them everything they've dreamed of. They couldn't have imagined.
Well, I think the actual crime here is that we actually won. We destroyed their military. We could have demanded anything we wanted. No, let me finish. We could have demanded anything we wanted.
And they
could
would have
have
said no,
demanded
keep
an
the war
absolute
going.
surrender, and Trump didn't do that. And that is beyond my understanding. Giving up
Well,
when you're
you know,
ahead is
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Uh, all predicted by me months ago when this whole
Well, yes,
fiasco
I'm going
started.
to admit it. You did predict it.
All right. And the neocons will never learn. They'll probably, go along with this idea that this was a good deal, this is a great deal. They're already starting.
Nobody on the right is going along with that idea except the Groypers.
Oh,
Tucker Carlson thinks this is
except the
good.
people
The
who will
actual conservatives on the right don't think this is good.
well, okay, but he's got the support from the Democrats, from enough Republicans in Congress. This will get congressional sanction, and this is, I mean, if there was any plan to destabilize the Iranian regime, you've now put it on steroids. They got more money to do with whatever they want to do.
No, I think that's
$100
crazy.
billion.
I think the Iranian regime was weak and might have fallen in the next year or two, and this will bring them
Yeah.
back.
And they would have taken the entire world's economy down with them. And at the end of the day, Donald Trump wasn't willing to go there.
Well, why do you think they would have taken the entire world's economy with them?
Because the price of oil would have skyrocketed as soon as we ran out of the strategic supply, which we are quickly dwindling down right now. The world's economy is on a knife's edge, and this was about to push it over. And so, there was nothing that he could do. We lost the war. What we tried to do didn't work. As I predicted, there was going to be no regime change just by killing the Ayatollah and then anybody else. There was going to be replacements. Right, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard had their backup team, and they played it well. You got to hand it to the Iranians. I mean, they walked the escalation ladder. They didn't pull out the big guns, and they didn't
Well,
need to.
in theory, they've agreed to no more nukes.
No more. They've already agreed to that. They agreed to that under Obama. The Ayatollah put a fatwa on going nuclear.
Yeah, but this time Trump is going in to take away
Time
the
it's
nuclear
different,
material.
Right? If time it's different. Yeah. It's going to be the same deal as the last time. Only this time they get 26 billion up front, 300 billion is going to be in the coming.
I have to say, one thing that upsets me a lot is that it looks to me like Trump in particular, but with the small handful of people around him, led by J.D. Vance, who I think is, I don't like J.D. Vance. I think they've given in to Qatar, Turkey, and Pakistan, all of which are not our friends, all of which are hardcore Muslim countries. And the fact that we are allowing ourselves to be influenced by them is absurd.
Well, we depend on them having the petrodollar. So if they even threaten
Pakistan and Turkey have no oil.
But Pakistan takes its orders from the Gulf states because they basically fund their economy. So when Pakistan stepped in, they were stepping in at the behest of the Gulf states, including Saudi Arabia.
Our experience with Pakistan during the Afghan war is that Pakistan betrayed us from start to finish by harboring the Taliban. The idea that we're actually trusting Pakistan again is crazy.
Lisa, they harbored Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, they did. They did, no question.
Right? So, yeah, look, it's the Middle East. There are no allies in the Middle East.
Meanwhile, allies, speaking of allies, our ally Israel has been kicked to the curb. President Trump basically told Netanyahu, he told him off in pretty vile language, and told him that he can't actually respond when Hezbollah in Lebanon bombs northern Israel, which is crazy because Israel has to do that to defend itself, regardless of what works for the United States or Iran. So Israel has served as the closest ally the United States has had since England in World War II. And kicking them to the curb like this and not including them in the final negotiations strikes me as deceitful and ugly.
Well, Trump didn't want them there because they would spoil it. So he cut them out.
Well, exactly. But that's not what you do if you are a loyal ally.
Well, everybody's got, at the end of the day, you got to serve your own interests and your own people's interest. and Trump made the call that this war was no longer serving the American public's interest. Now, this really puts Bibi in a big box. This is real trouble. If he no longer has a relationship with the United States, they have to get rid of him. There's got to be a coalition government of some sort that comes in, stabilizes the ship.
I think any actual prime minister who is elected in Israel will do more or less what Bibi has done with regard to foreign policy and defending Israel for the next many years, because there's no other choice. Israel is under attack by its allies and has no option but to defend itself militarily, and sometimes that requires being aggressive.
Well, I'd be careful with that. We really saw Israel's approval in the United States decline across the board, from Democrats and Republicans.
Well, that's partly because we take so many of our orders from places like Qatar and groups like CARE, Arab NGOs and front groups who are part of the actual quarrel, and who are good at propaganda. And
well,
yes, Israel's reputation took a beating, no question.
Most Americans care more about the price of gasoline than they do the state of Israel.
And on that note, we're going to go to a public service announcement. Please stick with us, and we'll be right back. So tonight we've got some happy news for a change. The World Cup is going on, as everybody knows, and tourists from Europe, who mostly hear bad things about the United States due to a very negative media of ours and theirs, are having a great time here. They're traveling across the country, watching their teams play in stadiums around America, and they're impressed by the size and beauty of our stadiums. They're impressed by the fabulousness of our fast food and our quasi-fast food. Texas barbecue is a hit with people from Britain and Germany and France. People from France, where we assume the food is so much better than ours, are going nuts over things like our various southern foods, macaroni and cheese, brisket, ribs. So this is actually a great thing. What do you think, David?
Great thing for the tourists, but if you're a commuter going into Penn Station, this has been a nightmare. They shut down Penn Station. It's thrown off the entire transit system. So yeah, great for the tourists.
But
But
no,
even
but
the
these tourists are all out in real America. They're not going into Penn Station. I know there are a bunch in New York of tourists who are going to the World Cup games in New Jersey, but the ones who are driving around Texas and Oklahoma and the Northwest, the Pacific Northwest, they're the ones who are having a great time. Nobody is actually raving from New York because New York is, of course, expensive.
If you walk around Penn Station right now, you probably could find quite a few people from New Jersey raving about New York.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right.
Not a positive way. But the hotel occupancy is very, very disappointing in all these host cities. They're all reporting 30 to 40% less than they expected. This has not been the great economic engine we were promised. It was overhyped.
But it's a great PR engine because these people are very impressed by these things. Free refills of soda and coffee, which is a great American innovation. They don't do that anywhere else in the world.
This is true. It is one of the great
Walmart
things.
and Costco. People are blown away when they see Walmart and Costco and the enormous goods at cheap prices. You can get anything. You can get a shed for your outdoors, or a ham, or a birthday cake, or shampoo. Just things that they don't have in Europe. I mean, they have all those things, but you have to go to small, separate stores. I don't know. It's and the fact that Americans are kind of extroverts, and when you walk down the street, if you pass an American, especially in the suburbs, they will smile at you and say hi. I saw on Twitter one French guy talking about how in his lifetime, maybe 5 people had said hi to him that he didn't already know, and his mother was one of them. So I think this is great. I think it's a great advertisement for the really good things about America.
That is true, particularly in the Midwest. They are the nicest people.
They are the nicest people. Although people talk about how New Yorkers are nicer than they expect to.
Depends on more nicer than you expect. But if you go out in the Midwest, they'll say good morning to you just passing them on the street. So they get a little of the Midwest friendliness, and so that's a good thing. Sure.
Well, there's this guy named Freddie who's German who has been invited to tour the NASA facilities in Houston and Dallas, and to go to a baseball game with the mayor of Houston. He's having a great time, and he's being treated to big hotel rooms, the size of which he's never seen before. It's quite an advertisement.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
But,
You're not
as far as
impressed.
the
You're not
general
impressed.
American
I get
public,
it. Because
we don't care.
are a New Yorker,
I mean,
and you're
it's the
so
World Cup. It's
cynical.
soccer.
Whereas
Who
I am a New
cares?
Yorker, but I'm a conservative, so I'm not so cynical.
Well, I just don't like soccer. So, and who does?
No,
I mean, this is
I don't
America.
watch soccer.
America is way more excited about the Knicks still than they are the World Cup.
The Knicks and our little celebration afterwards that took down Times Square and burned a couple of buses, that was classy.
But one hell of a team. I mean,
No, a great team.
Together and come from behind, never say die. Real inspiration on just when it looks like you've lost completely. Never give up. Just chip away, chip away, chip away. Cheers to the Knicks.
Yep, it's a good thing. So.
By the way, Lisa, viewers might have noticed I'm kind of moving my arm a little strangely, and that's because I got a 6-week-old just born. My baby girl, her name is Fox Esme Eisenbach, down below here on a bouncer, keeping the peace in the house here.
Thank you for explaining why you're jiggling.
That's why I'm jiggling.
And we all wish Fox Esme all the best in her debut in this world.
Yeah.
So
now, on the sporting news, let's talk about that UFC fight. Did you watch, Lisa?
No, of course I didn't watch. I don't watch fights. I'm not interested in fights.
A cage match that wasn't enough to get your attention?
No, oddly enough. Nor was I invited to the White House itself.
What was that? I didn't hear that.
What about this cage match.
Oh, well, I mean, it was everything that you imagined, only kind of worse. If there was kind of a spirit of positivity, it got completely ruined by this one fighter who said Michelle Obama is a man, right?
That's a conspiracy theory that's been around for a long time.
Yeah, except in a White House hosted event. Talk about classless.
Yeah, I think that is a classless thing to
Walking the line,
say.
if not over the line, on racist, right? The whole spirit was negative. It put a bad taste in everybody's mouth. It was the news the next day. It was just another one of these fiascos of Trump's horrible summer. We got algae in the reflecting pool. It looks like a swamp. Everything
That's
is
not what I hear. I hear it looks beautiful.
Has been a disaster.
It looks beautiful now that all the garbage is gone and all the algae, in fact, that existed during the Biden administration is, in fact, gone.
Well, it's not looking very good for whatever money we spent on it.
The UFC fight, I will just say, the one reason I don't care that it's a little vulgar is that I think these kinds of strenuous athletic matches, that's a part of the American character too. I think if Trump wants to celebrate that part of the American character, more power to him. I'm not going to watch, but that's okay. I don't watch soccer either.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's been a terrible summer for Trump.
Not yet. I mean, the Iran thing is terrible, but I mean, what I think is terrible? I think it's terrible that the Democrats, are using the fact that they hate Trump to not celebrate America's 250th birthday. I think that's actually terrible because this is a big deal.
Trump politicized it, and so they couldn't sign on to it.
I don't think Trump politicized it. I think the Democrats politicized it.
When all those acts started dropping out, then he announced he's going to turn it into a MAGA rally.
Well, yeah, he shouldn't have announced that it was going to be a MAGA rally on the 4th of July.
It's politics, right? And the turnouts haven't been good. The turnout, And by the way, it's not just Democrats. You got MAGA Republicans who have broken with him.
Not over this, not over the 250th anniversary.
No, of course not. But over Iran.
Over Iran, for sure.
And
I mean, we'll see how that plays out as this.
The ghost of Epstein.
One thing I wanted to say about Iran is that on the Hill, and this gives me hope, both Democrats and Republicans want to vote on this treaty. And that is a good thing. They chose not to vote on Obama's treaty because it wouldn't have passed. But this treaty, if it doesn't pass, that might be a good thing.
It'll pass. He'll get enough Republicans who are still scared of him, rightly so, to support it, and he'll get the Democrats.
I don't know. In other news, in political news, can you tell me, David, why the Democratic Party, which has always been a pretty center-left party, is being taken over by radical democratic socialists everywhere across the country, in L.A., in the Pacific Northwest, right here in New York City. And New York, Mayor Mondami is, I heard somebody say on TV that Mondami is going to look like just another guy when all of these people are elected. This is a disaster for the party. We need an opposition, but it can't be hardcore communist and radically pro-Palestinian.
All right, it's not hardcore communists, first off. Secondly, Democratic Party, what has it stood for in the last 30 years, right? This neoliberal embraced by Bill Clinton just became, the Democratic Party. We were all about the money. We stood up for absolutely nothing. We went along with all these wars.
So you think it should be socialist? Do you think being socialist is a good thing?
I think having principles and having principled stands and not just knuckling under to the money is a good thing for new leaders coming into the Democratic Party. I think it's going to revitalize us. The reason why Trump won was because the Democrats didn't stand for anything. We got Hillary Clinton. And so
you think Hillary didn't stand for anything? Are you saying
Trump
Hillary
is to
didn't stand for
actually
anything?
believe in something.
What does Kamala believe in?
Another, like just a nothing, right? That's why we lose, right? We have nothing to say. We had Bernie Sanders. The DNC cheated him out of the election twice. It's a pacifier. Twice. Cheated him out of election twice. And they expect us to keep on turning out. So the Democratic Party made its own bet by not presenting the American public with any plan other than we hate Trump. That's all they've been saying. Well, now
Well, that
you've
is
got
all they've been saying.
candidates with
Although
actual
they're letting these crazy socialist anti-Semites take over, and that's not really good for anybody. In New York City, Mayor Mondami, our communist Ugandan mayor, has supported somebody named Daria Lisa Chevalier against Adriano Espaillat in the 13th district. Espaillat has been the congressman from Harlem in Spanish Harlem for about 12 years. It's he's very liberal. He's not so moderate. He's not Hillary Clinton.
He's a moderate. Come on.
He's not that moderate.
He goes along with the whole party apparatus.
No, they hate him because he's
a hack.
pro-Israel.
And
He's supported by AIPAC.
Some challenging him. I mean, good luck. It's hard to unseat an incumbent. But unless you have billions of dollars poured into your race from outside funds, then it happens.
I think
But
Harlem does better when you've got a moderate bringing in money and plans and programs and doing all of the things that a solid congressman should do, as opposed to bringing in some woman who, in fact, tweeted that she had no problem wiping her hands on the American flag. That's not somebody who should be representing our country. She shouldn't be in Congress.
Well, we'll see where voters go. My hunch is Espaillat wins this, no problem.
Yeah, I think so too. I can't imagine. The voters of Harlem did not support Mondami. And
That's right.
I can't
They
imagine.
voted for
Right,
Cuomo.
blacks in New York didn't support Mondami. They voted for Andrew Cuomo because they are more moderate and maybe more sensible than the immigrants who put Mondami in office. So
Well, it wasn't just immigrants.
it was mostly immigrants. It was mostly people who were
And by
not
the way,
born in this country.
Jewish voters voted for Mondami too in big
Who?
numbers.
Oh yeah, the yuppies, the young people who whose jobs don't pay enough to live in the city and who don't think that they should leave. Therefore,
Lisa wants you young people out of this town.
only the ones who can't afford to be here. I feel like if you can't afford to be here, don't be here. That's the way it's always been. Anyway, on that note, thank you so much for watching, and we will be back in 2 weeks. Please join us. Good night.